Good morning. I'm a little bit tired this morning. I didn't sleep well, but you want to start the meeting, Kendall? I've got it here. I said I'll find the agenda. All right, busy week. We just had some discussion on tokens before the recording started. It's February 21st, 2017. It's 10:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. First standard report, consider it. There's been a little activity. We've also added task boards and as a place where proposals are entered, so to speak. People put things into the backlog and then they get approved and possibly get bounties assigned to them. And so there's another process under formation there. But it doesn't replace the consider it. It's consider it as useful where it's useful. And I'm considering using it for Divvy University. Anything on consider it? There was some positives, some pros entered, and minor things. Second report is on the migration from Slack, Rocket Chat. It's not such a clear, I mean, it's a little bit confusing to me at the moment. People are talking about using Slack archive and continuing in Slack. Seems to be some pushback on going to Rocket Chat. Not ready to make any decisions on that. I don't know. I guess we just move forward. I am testing the brand new Slack archive feature, which will save the history and make it searchable for free. It doesn't save private channels or direct messages, however. But we may continue. I don't know. I think there needs to be more discussion about moving. CoCloud and ArtChain, or I guess CoCloud moved to Rocket Chat. We sort of need to run our own to get all the functionality, and that's work. And see if we can get it done. ArtChain doesn't seem to be making any move to move off Slack at this point. Anything on that? Any more reports?
No, nothing to add on that.
All right, let's see. I put it. This could have been in a report. The ArtChain and Divvy.io, Divvy University classes on Thursday. We went through compiling Rosette using Vagrant. two of us were successful in getting it to run, getting Rosette to run on our machines. One on a Macintosh and one on a PC. We had a Giveth.io study group initiated by Brent. 2 p.m. Saturdays. And this week we did Ether Camp with flexible coins. And I put flexible coins here because I have to look up the link on that. I assumed they were Minimax based, and they seem to be extended Minimax. So it takes some more, I have to put some more research into the epistemology of the coins, of the coins. But it, the video is on the Divvy channel. And then a lot of it was just going over Linux basics type stuff and, building, following the instructions on GitHub for getting the source code and building it and, handling the problems that came up. But one of the things I was hoping to get done was I wanted to get a proposal written for Divvy University. I think, it brings together a lot of things, which is the whole learn while you learn, building something worthwhile and making a difference initiative that I've had very positive feedback on it. I haven't gotten classes, many people attending yet. And, I'm thinking about this in the bigger picture of, sort of a apprenticeship in enterprises.
Whoa. Whoa. Jeff Anthony.
Hey.
Wow, dude. It's good to see you.
Can we actually see him? Where is he?
Here, let me.
It might prove me out.
Oh, yeah. Usually you have to come in twice. You sound a little fuzzy. It's been great to see you around, Jeff.
It's good to see you too. I don't have headphones, so I'm going to stay muted most of the time.
So, oops, there he goes. There he comes.
Yep.
I just want to confirm it's all right if I stick around, right?
Oh, sure.
You're, let's put it this way. You're more than welcome. Always.
Much more.
Now and forever.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We love to see you. So I was just getting into Divvy University, which is a sort of a super generalization of the education system that you were envisioning last year. So it's kind of appropriate that I'm in here and see what this has blossomed into. We had 2 collaborative learning sessions this week, sort of as a proof of concept. Although we did those before with Ethereum, we didn't get it right, and so it's earn while you learn, building something worthwhile and making a difference. Divvy University process. And it's apprenticeship in enterprises that are becoming, it's collaborative learning, and it's team building. And, it's really, so, one aspect of it is, students, student-run education, so to speak. There's whole schools of, of student-driven learning, and coaching to earn bounties. Coaching to build something. I didn't mean to write this proposal while we're in a meeting here, but so I guess the Divvy University considerate will be open, and we'll be soliciting people for bounty, for projects, and we can get projects off Bitcoin Talk. There's channels where they have bounties posted. There's bounties posted all over the place that we can pick up. And of course, will be bounties for our chain and CoCoin projects. And, for Divvy stuff, Divvy tokens. And I see a great partnership forming here that we're driving with Giveth, that's Jordy and Griff, and with Roman and company at EtherCamp. And that's a funding source, Hackers Gold. There's no reason we can't enter these student projects in competition in Hackers Gold. And we get some great people connections by doing so, as well as a great incentive for students and coaches.
Yeah, I mean, this is a way of putting mentors and together with projects, to get together with those who are eager to learn and are willing to essentially give their time and energy.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. I mean, other than kind of, teaching people to, be good foot soldiers in a project, is there a purpose beyond that where, and I'm thinking sort of like Khan Academy a little bit, where at the end they would actually have a qualification that would enable them to go into other projects and make money. In other words, the attraction here is, oh wow, I can be part of this cutting edge thing. I can learn about this technology, and now I can go over to such and such company because they need people like me.
Yeah, certification.
Okay, perfect. So leading to, okay, and you notice I've been sort of fine tuning your language here in the, right?
Fine, good.
Okay, so I hope it's meeting your approval.
Another one of those points was prerequisites.
Well, what I have is
should we call it Divvy certification? In other words, if we're the experts and we're giving, then we should be the one giving out the certificate, right?
Yeah, Divvy University.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to call it Divvy certification.
Divvy U certification.
Okay, leading to Divvy certification from.
I also like Divvy University or something, not Divvy.
Yeah, Divvy U.
From DU, not to be confused with Denver University. I like it. Yes. So, I mean, in the, okay, so in the course of what we're doing, I mean, this grows organically just from doing what we're doing.
Right. It's sort of like what we've been trying to do, but we haven't done it directly. You know what I mean? We haven't focused on, I mean, we haven't put it together. This is a process. You know, this actually frees the wage slave. It goes beyond going. I mean, when you stop learning, you stop living. I mean, people are always learning. And so this is a continuous process.
Which I think is a very, very, very key point, because the reason why people get involved in these kinds of groups, right, is because they are inherently curious people. And you know, they want to use their mind. They want to use their experience, and they want to expand all of that, right? And so the one thing that may be missing in some of these efforts is a defined purpose. And in this case, we can say, well, here's the defined purpose. You know, take part in this, and at the end, you'll get a certificate from Divvy University. So that, you know, along with all of the other stuff they get, they have this credential.
Yeah, and you know, and it's a way of earning while it's more, you know, yeah, that's a plus.
Now here's the other side of the coin, as it were. All right, instead of them paying us, we're paying them.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You know, it has to be meritocratic. You know, if it takes a class 2 weeks to do something that would take an expert an hour who gets 150 an hour, you know, that, you know, they're only going to get the 150 for the hour's work of the expert for their 2 weeks work, but they're learning.
Right. So what you're saying is that you're combining completing a task that's actually building the, you know, whatever the project deliverable is, and at the same time they're collecting the, you know, whatever the points are, you might say, towards the certificate.
Right. And you know, it goes back to the philosophy or the principle of giving the most to those who contributed the most, and something to everybody who learned. Okay, anybody who demonstrated learning. I mean, an enterprise should it has benefit in supporting learning.
Well, right, and this is proof of attention, proof of participation.
Right. And
yes.
you know, and then the people that, you know, you give the people who contribute the most, they have incentive because they get more.
In a large enough pool of people, most people will be both mentoring some and apprenticing others in the same category too.
Okay, so what I have for the prerequisites are the desire to learn, Google searching, and copy and paste.
Hey, Jim, could we just circle back for 1 minute?
Sure.
I think look here. I love this idea. I really think this is a big thing. So my question is, do we need to, we need an action item here in terms of setting up within Divvy a person or people that would be responsible for creating a structure for this, so that, I'm saying maybe a roadmap for the Divvy University, or you see what I'm getting at? I mean,
yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Well,
how do we implement this in a way where it takes off organically?
Well, I have to work on the proposal, but it involves, setting up a considerate for Divvy University and collect classes, and then the classes schedule classes in Doodle, or it's all in the agenda. I put it all in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The basic structure. So when you get a critical mass of people and they can schedule at least 4 people, then you hold the class at that time.
Okay. So 4 people is minimum class?
Right. Well, I mean, people can meet outside of class, but I mean, people, they can decide to have a class anyway, but with 4 people, it's automatic you have a class.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess what you're saying is 1 mentor, right?
Well, everybody
and 3 students.
The reality is, people know different stuff, and different skills are needed, and and in collaborative learning, you're putting your knowledge together. Okay, getting back to the prerequisites that Jeff was asking about. The prerequisites I put as where is it? Desire to learn, Google searching, copy and paste. Those are the only things that are required for there to be a classroom. Okay, I defined the classroom process in the new document. Okay,
yeah, I mean, this is sort of like this is how to use the Divvy Toolbox 101.
Yeah, how to apply it.
Yes, in a project situation.
And I can add here, consider it proposal. And should we make it Divvy U, consider it proposal.
So I mean, about going back to, I mean, we're kind of talking about two things here. I mean, if someone comes to Divvy and we need to create this, you know, sort of maybe the tab, you know, in other words, find a mentor, right? The find a mentor tab.
No, okay.
I may be going a little afield from what you were talking about, which was in specific projects. But I'm saying, what if somebody shows up on the website and they see Divvy University, and they clicked on that, and you know, the menu on the left, you know, one of the buttons would be find a mentor.
Yeah, well, I mean, all that stuff could be added. Right now, it's just simple. They go down to, they go to consider it, and they say, "Gee, I'd like to be in that class," and they add themselves to that class and consider it.
Right.
I think
Okay?
we,
And, you know, you know, the meeting process is whoever shows up, okay, the skills they bring to the table determine what their task is for it, and what their assignment is before the next class, 1 week later or whatever. Okay, you know, if it's just deciding what they need to learn, there's so much learning material on the net. You know,
Yeah.
okay, that, you know, what they're doing is they're team building in a sense.
Okay. Let's let Plant Eater. She wanted to get in here.
yeah, just a quick comment. Thanks. I just wanted to say maybe we should consider the first group a pre-alpha, and just from that first group figure stuff out, you know, and how it's going to be designed and how it's going to be presented and all that stuff. Just sort of get going, you know, and not worry about all the stuff that it will eventually be.
I think so. You know, I think the main issue has been, you know, getting students, and I think, you know, when we have the basic, when we have basic material and process put together in a digestible form, then from, you know, the EtherCamp community, the Giveth community, the ArtChain community, the CoCloud community, we can start getting people to sign up for classes. Okay, and add classes on the things they want to do. So that they can build a team for their project. And you know, getting a mentor is something that we want to encourage them to find mentors for their project. And yes, you know, but I agree with Plant Eater. At this point, we have plenty to do just to get this off the ground, and think about
So, I mean, in that regard, then, I mean, I think what you're saying is, okay, we got plenty of balls in the air. We have plenty of projects that are
Yeah.
that are up. Here's the only thing that I would add to that. Okay, is that when those projects meet, you know, it's the team leader question might be, is everyone up to speed on using the tools? Right? And in most, you know, in most cases, well, most people will be at least partially up to speed. Okay, but I think we run into all the time situations where people are, you know, are not up to speed on certain things, and there are assumptions. You know, some other people who are up to speed kind of have assume that everybody else is up to speed.
Well, see, that's the beauty of collaborative learning, because if one person knows how to do something, they share their screen, and then everyone else sees how to do it. And monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
So they see it a few times, they're going to be able to do it.
Right.
And
Okay.
you know, generally, the way you want to find a mentor is you say, well, you know, this project would interest what people in what Slack that are working on, you know, that you know, or whatever. You know, at this point anyway, we're reaching outside for mentors.
Also, Ken, to address what you just said, usually in these kinds of classes, there's usually always one person who takes notes or comes up with like little mini tutorials based on what they're learning for the benefit of the other students. That just tends to happen.
Yeah, that's supposed to happen. And, you know, what we have is a log where everything is recorded that the class does.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, and this can be used to create a sort of tutorial, although we haven't taken the effort to do this, and I guess, you know, that's why I'm asking for a budget in Divvy to run these courses.
Does some of the debate projects apply to this? Like, you know, getting the video conference set up and whatnot?
Yeah, there are sort of interrelationships between, I mean, there's all kinds of aspects to this that come out of it, like the video production company. You know, you create a tutorial, then you know, and you have all these videos from the class that can be put together into a training thing, whatever.
It's like the tutorial is the process.
We think debate in what sense, Jeff?
Well, I was just pretty much thinking that, you know, there was a little bit of thought in how to communicate with others that something was going to be going on, and then inviting them into, you know, a video conference where more than one people would chat. And I was also thinking that after planning their mission, like there should be an alpha, beta stage or whatever, just testing things out, and that would be a perfect way to, you know, test how you think it should run. And the first one could be talking about more details that we've thought about, you know, in the meantime, that go onto this document.
Could I just interject something? Has anybody here ever learned a foreign language?
I almost learned Spanish.
And where I'm Plant Eater.
Yes.
Yeah. Has anyone ever heard of the Pimsleur method?
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Well, and so what I'm kind of thinking here, I mean, first of all, IT, right, is I've likened it to learning Mandarin, but but also learning a whole bunch of concepts that the Mandarin language doesn't even cover. Okay, so learning IT is kind of like twice as difficult as learning a regular language. And so circling back to the Pimsleur method, which essentially, and this comes down to how we might actually take we were talking about notes as mini tutorial, right? So if we were to develop a methodology where we take the notes and then we create the tutorial in the Pimsleur manner, which is you introduce something, and then 5 seconds later you reintroduce the same thing, and then you move to other material, and then 30 seconds later you introduce the same thing again, okay, and you move, and so if the tutorial is like 5 minutes long, let's say, you've introduced the same concept like 5 times in or maybe 8 times or something. First, in the first 30 seconds, you've introduced it 3 times, and and then in the next minute or 4.5 minutes, you introduce it, 3 more times, let's say. Okay, and I don't want to belabor the point, but does that make sense?
Yeah, I do, because it's difficult to learn these concepts for people, and I think
Well,
people usually make people are going to have to watch times.
I think we find that people will find different roles. Not every there's only like 1% of the population that's going to be a star programmer, and I think that the basic things that you need to be able to do is the type get and the type make and whatever are no harder than what people are doing with their word processors and spreadsheets and all the technology they're using. It's not any more difficult. It's just following a recipe, copying and pasting. And that's why I say the ability to search the web and do copy and paste is the only requirements to be a productive member of the collaborative classroom. I'm not saying everyone is going to turn out to be a system administrator. It's certainly not my goal or ambition.
Well, I think this is really exciting. I mean, I see how we've got all the basic building blocks already in place. It's a question of ordering them and I don't know, Plant Eater, let me ask you this. How, again, I mean, I know we're talking about it from a practical standpoint of implementing this in our projects and being intentional about how intentional about implementing it. But the thing that kind of, gets me excited is how we could implement this on the website. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I definitely like the idea of the repetition. I think we should look at how Udacity does it.
Udacity?
Yes, Udacity. Because they do something similar to that, but they do it very visually as well.
Okay. How do you want to type it in the notes?
Yeah, sure.
In the meeting notes?
Oh, in the meeting notes, right?
Yeah,
right.
not in the chat.
Okay.
You see where my cursor is?
Wait, I'm in the wrong meeting notes. Sorry, I put that one.
Under notes, I've been putting stuff in there.
Yeah, I think I lost the notes.
Well, no, it's in agenda item number 1.
If you click on his picture, it'll show you where his cursor is.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Yeah.
You're in there. I see you in there. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So see, I'm talking to my iPad and I'm this on a different. And I went away for a second. Okay. So we are agenda item
number 1. Down at notes.
Why am I still in the wrong one?
Down here.
Anyway, can I just spell it to you? For some reason, I'm having trouble. It's U, D as in David, A, and then
UDA.
And then CITY like city.
CITY. Udacity.com?
That's right, yes.
.com. Okay. Okay. And you're saying that it's has a similar.
Yeah, not maybe we'd want to have a little more repetition, but it is kind of similar to that, and I think it's a pretty effective method, and it's a very visual way of learning too, which I think is super helpful.
Okay. Great. Well, I'll definitely go check it out. Or maybe I'll turn it into a link. How about that? Okay. So. Okay, so here we are.
But at this point, I see this more as these people want to do this project and they want to learn and they find each other and form a classroom. And that's, sort of how this can grow. We take the things that we want to do, and we find projects that are doing them, and we try to get students and people to participate. And if they can put together a classroom, if we're interested in it, well, for one thing, I'll attend if it's something I want to do. I think that's a pretty productive use of my time.
well, in other words, being one of the the mentors or instructors in Divvy University.
Right, but
In other words,
all this technology is new to me. I also need a kid in there who knows all the latest
well,
stuff.
look, Jim, we all know that you like to teach, or at least you like to you like to lecture, yes, and that probably comes a lot from the fact that you were a professor at NJIT for what, 25 years?
Well, I only taught adjunct. I didn't always.
But
I always, I always had a whole slew of research assistants who I was advisor on their projects.
mhm.
And this collaborative uh, relationship is I have a lot of experience with, and
Yeah.
I,
Well, so let me ask you this. Do you think Greg Meredith would be willing to be a professor at Divvy U?
well, let's put it this way. If we're doing a project, an arcane project that he wants, and we're showing significant progress, he will participate. I don't think he's going to participate with a bunch of noobs.
Well, that's probably right. But here's kind of where I'm going with this, and that is that if there are projects out there that need qualified people, right? And we were able to offer through people like yourself who, I mean, as a professor, you can be paid Divvy tokens, for instance. You would teach essentially a class that was going to make qualified a group of students that could then be immediately directed to a project that needs those skills.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, which isn't, this is not a revolutionary concept, but what is revolutionary is the notion that, well, and maybe that's not even revolutionary, the notion that you're training people to be competent in filling roles, in doing tasks and making projects happen, right? It's what is maybe revolutionary is that everybody gets rewarded, right? And rather than paying, they get rewarded with tokens that they can use in the marketplace, basically. And what is the marketplace? Well, it's the marketplace of ideas. It's the marketplace of making beneficial things happen. It's the marketplace of the human project. And so in that sense, it's very, very different. And it's a little bit like, I mean, I could see a collaboration with Khan Academy, for instance, because Khan Academy already has a lot of this stuff going on, but they don't have the tokenization scheme set up, right? So, I mean, if we could get them involved, then we could just, we would be light years ahead.
Yeah, and even if they don't want to be involved, using their videos as some of the learning, the background learning materials.
Right, and would we need permission for that, or is it, I mean, is that all open source? Do we know that?
As far as I know, it's all open.
It's all open source.
Yeah, there are tons of Creative Commons materials from MIT and stuff even. And speaking of Greg Meredith, he has a ton of videos out as well that I learned a great deal from watching.
Yeah. Okay. So in other words, what we're talking, this is the aggregation model, basically.
Yeah, I like to think of it as a knowledge repository, and wiki style is what I always think about in my mind, like Wikipedia, where anybody could edit. But
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, this is now we're getting into an editor function here. Or whoever is like if Jim is teaching, you know, a particular course, or Jeff is teaching, you know, the tokenization of blah blah, you know, from the you know, the technician side, you know, then that individual is putting together the teaching materials. Obviously, it's sort of, you know, and then it's like a syllabus. You know, it's not exactly reinventing the wheel. It's taking traditional, the structure of the traditional learning institution and repurposing it. You know, it's a more let's call it, it's a more agile learning environment with jobs waiting at the end.
You know, we have to. I think one of the key differences here in what I'm envisioning anyway is that the object is to produce something, to produce some value. Okay, that there's a purpose in producing something of value. When the class actually meets and you see what skills are at the table, then you determine how can we move this forward? What's the next step? What do we need to do? Okay, who knows something that nobody else knows, so to speak. You know, there's essentially independent study between classes where we can recommend materials that are needed in order to meet the deliverable, because it's really meeting the deliverable that pays bounties. And, you know, part of that is learning, but, you know, and that's a detail to be worked out. How much do you reward learning versus producing something useful? Okay, in other words, every class produces something useful in that at the whatever process they did, whatever problems they encountered, what they, you know, what information they found is recorded. Okay, and if nothing was solved, that defines what the homework is to resolve these things, and maybe, you know, ask questions on the internet. Go to the, you know, enter issues in the right repository. It's how to solve a problem. Okay, bringing back knowledge to the group. Um, most of the things that the average person can't do are damn trivial. And, I can't overemphasize how important it is, to enable people to do basic things like use GitHub, which even the standards groups are moving to for document collaboration.
You're what you're really talking about, and you're really talking about me, Jim. Who's a guy who viscerally, I have a resistance to, that which I don't have control over. Okay. It's really interesting. I've got let me show you here. So here's the thing. This came. I'll just show it in the camera. Okay. So can you read it? Okay. It says, "Wow, a simple to use computer designed especially for seniors." Okay. Yeah. Well, I haven't actually checked it out, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if this is for a whole group of people that have a visceral or an ingrained resistance to new technology called the computer. Okay, and let me just finish. All right. So the point here is that the user group that we're talking about are really composed of human beings who have this ingrained tendency, okay, which I would submit is a human tendency, okay? What percentage of the population are the ones who will always, they'll see something different and they'll just grab onto it because it's different, okay? What percentage of the population are people who will see something different and they'll say, oh, I think I'll go back to my old familiar, phone, right? I don't want to learn all this stuff, okay? So you've got people in all in a whole spectrum, okay? But I'm talking about this in the context of the human project, okay? That being that which we are all part of as human beings, well, okay? And I think that's what Divvy is about.
Yeah, like Doug Rushkoff, program or be programmed. Okay, I have a different idea of programming. I mean, programming is something we all do all the time, but we tend to be programmed more than we're programming. And you do a lot of programming. You're sort of a program manager for us and your programming systems. Okay, and you have a lot of technical skills. Okay, you're pretty agile with the tools of the technology, and you may have resisted greatly, but you have become fairly agile with the technology, and nobody wants to change really what they do. There are people, we do get excited about new things sometimes and we want to change. But I think, one of the problems with people cooperating is that they don't want to change. Whereas in a cooperation, everybody has to change in order to find that common ground, whatever. In our first brush here, okay, we want to encourage people to want to learn. by saying you're a technological idiot. Well, you can still do useful stuff.
I mean, that's what we want to say on the website, right?
Well, it's I mean, the but
we want to we want people to be comfortable in the space that we're creating.
Yeah.
And the way and so I don't know. It's sort of like how would the average person approach Einstein? Well, actually, Einstein seemed to me, from what I can see, he was someone who really enjoyed human beings, other human beings, and he liked to kind of joke around and make fun of the sort of absurd situation that we all find ourselves in, right?
Yeah, I think this is a good analogy. I thought of it a few times because my brother John's family is all involved with democratic schooling, and I think that this idea fits perfectly with what we're trying to do here. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's 95%. And so,
yeah, paste it in the chat.
I'll stick it in the meeting. I'll just stick it in here. I don't know where I'll stick it. I put it in the notes.
Yeah, I see it there. Great.
But I think that that will attract, the idea of democratic education will attract people as well, although it's not that popular yet. If you just look at a Google on democratic education, come up with all kinds of schools. But there's a lot of material here on the Education Revolution, alternativeschool.com. Democratic schools are stupid.
Okay, well.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you come out to, and and I don't see the blind beating the blind as a problem really, because when I come into a class where I don't know the material that we're using, like the ones that I'm running, okay, what we're really teaching is the problem solving process. That you're always solving problems when you're learning. You always have to learn when you're solving a problem.
When you think about synergy, right? The whole synergistic principle can happen. Well, look at it this way. It happens between parents and children. Okay. I mean, you think about when that child is first born, the mother especially is interacting with the child in a synergistic manner, right? The child is saying something to the mother, right? And the mother reacts in directly to what the child is saying, okay? And it goes on from there. Now you have the the blind leading the blind. I'm assuming that's a reference to the teacher is blind, and the teacher is leading the student who is blind. The point here is it's not hierarchical, right? It's and because synergy does not recognize hierarchy.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And so the mentor, the student learns from the student while the student is learning from the mentor. And if you have a synergistic environment, there's no preaching going on, right? I mean, it's a situation of give and take where realizations take place that carries the whole experience, forward. And at the end, it's sort of like, whew, wow, that was something. We started over there and look where we are now.
So
You're muted, Jim. Yeah.
to propose a 10,000 Divvy token budget, and and we need to have collect a team. I mean, I volunteer for the team.
I volunteer too.
Okay.
So the action item is
okay. Do we approve the 10,000 budget? Is the proposal?
yes. Well, that's you're making a motion that we approve a $10,000 token budget for Divvy University.
Right.
Okay, and I second the motion.
Okay. Anybody against?
So, yeah. Any further discussion?
I'm in favor.
Okay, so all in favor say,
Everyone said
I'm
they were
in favor.
We don't need,
Kendall is in favor.
yeah, we already all said we're in favor.
Fabulous. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, and I would also be involved.
okay. So
Not in the distribution in the Divvy University.
yeah. So when do we meet next? When's a good time? What's today? Tuesday. How about tomorrow at 4 Eastern?
Yeah,
I can't do that tomorrow or Wednesday, but I could on Thursday or Friday.
Thursday. Thursday at 4?
that works for me.
So
Divvy University.
okay, so let's just say that it's passed, resolution passed.
So down here, Plan Eater, under action items, why don't we just put in there motion passed to establish Divvy University, first meeting Thursday, 4, that's 4 EST, right?
Yes.
Eastern time. So, yeah, Leah, where are you located now?
I'm on the West Coast, but that's a good time for me, 1 p.m.
Yeah, that's 1. So it's 2 for me. I that's perfect. Perfect. So,
Aren't you
So
normally
here-
in Texas?
I'm sorry?
Aren't you normally in Texas, Plan Eater? No?
That's
No.
where Dad lives.
My dad lives in Florida.
Oh, Florida, that's right.
Where in Florida?
Fort Myers.
All right. Okay. In the meantime, I plan on setting up to consider it and soliciting, encouraging people to put their project on the consider it. Or, and then to try to schedule a time with Doodle or form a date. And a Slack channel. Should I make a private Slack channel for the team or just an open channel? I think just an open channel.
Yeah, I open channel, I think. I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah.
You can keep an open channel named Divvy U just for people to get in 24/7.
Yeah. But it's sort of the thing where, every class needs their own channel too. And I guess it's on Rocket Chat, not Slack.
Yeah, maybe establish Divvy University Rocket Chat, its own Rocket Chat.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll have way too many channels.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's really 2 things. There's, we have projects like the Divvy Video Production Company, the Divvy Debate Arena, okay, and we're just putting them into another context now in terms of the Divvy University.
Yeah, and this is all playing eerily close to what I've been researching for a long time. As I mentioned for a year now on YouTube, the whole GuildWorks concept, guild script concept, tech enterprises, etc. And it's interesting because I have a number of plans made up which go directly with what we're doing here: apprenticeships, a network of cryptocurrencies, etc. In fact, it's in the Divvy. The word class keeps throwing me off. I wrote class a few times in the Divvy plan, the white paper, under the class level section, how we would actually compose people into groups. So when you say class, it's funny because I also work with a few other guys coding. So when I say class in front of those guys, they're thinking, one of them thinks about some video game he used to play where they had classes. And another one is thinking schoolroom classes. And I'm thinking about the classes I've been thinking of for a while. And when I'm in this meeting and I hear the word classes, we're talking about like virtual classrooms. The word classes, I just wanted to mention, is a kind of a vague term that it takes me, I have to continually tell myself, okay, classes is this. So just to mention.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talk about classes of tasks, for instance, which is a you know, it's a what do you call it? It's oh gosh, the scientific term, but it's about yeah. I mean, I'm just picking up on what you're saying. I may not have fully gotten it, but what I'm saying is that in that sense, classes means a certain items that can be put in certain locations that are differentiated from other locations, right?
Yeah, like the way that I've always envisioned it is a taxonomy of skill sets or
Taxonomy, that's the term. Yeah, so I mean, do we, you know, we have a taxonomy of learning. Do we have a taxonomy of tasking? We have a taxonomy of discussion, a taxonomy of prioritization, right? Is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, you would have different groups of taxonomies. One of them would be, in this case, a class taxonomy, where people could register classes, join classes. But when I mentioned class just now, it's not the same thing as the virtual classrooms we were talking about prior. I'm talking about is like the Drupal class user group or the Ubuntu Linux class user group, you know, or maybe it's not tech, maybe it's the artist class or the musician class. So for instance, those people might schedule classrooms where they meet, or they might have hangouts or Skype meetings or Zoom meetings, but those people are only, our system only cares about that group of people in such a way that we need to know that these are the people that the task list is going to notify that there's a task that can be done. So if a Drupal 8 website needs to be done, it's going to be delivered to the Drupal 8 class that has a level high enough to make their own website. But anyway, long story short, I just wanted to point out the word class is vague. I don't know if it's going to be vague for everyone, but I don't know. It reminds me of middle class. Sorry, my voice is getting low. It reminds me of class systems, hierarchies. It reminds me of that kind of thing. So when I used the word class, I wasn't thinking hierarchical. I was thinking of taxonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do we call working learning groups? And we have to, and the other thing we want to keep in mind with this, that, you know, when you have a deliverable centered room, like making a website, okay, there's all different skills in there. You only really need one guy to be the sysadmin. Not everybody has to know how to be the sysadmin. They can make a website together and learn, and
I just want to say that I think taxonomy is a pretty classy way of talking about it.
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I think of category theory, and I think of intelligent classifiers, and bringing bringing together the skills in a meaningful way. I mean, once you have 100 people signing up for a classroom, you can start to associate them. Well, we need these 5 skills, and so you group people in a way that brings those skills, whatever,
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly. The group taxonomy would be the skill set so that the task knows which persons to, you know, let know there's a task over here they can do.
Yeah.
And
But
at the same time,
for now, it's simple. Whoever shows up for the class, okay, based on those skills, okay, you decide what you're going to do during that class and what you're going to, learn between now and the next class in order to take the next steps.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with everyone introducing themselves, but it also starts with the leader or the teacher, the professor, the mentor, whatever you want to call them. You could have the same discussion about that term as we are having about class. The point here is that there's a moderator who everyone is assuming has more of the knowledge that the other participants want, or what?
No, because, you start off and, the first two guys who join the call, they know certain stuff and they consider what they could do. And then the third guy joins the class and everything changes. He's bringing different stuff to the table. He has different problems, different issues. Okay,
I was talking about a class in Divvy University.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the courses that we're running now. Okay, with Giveth and with our chain program. Okay, it would be good to have a moderator of some kind in there. It doesn't mean they know anything about the subject matter. Moderator doesn't have to know anything. A moderator just facilitates the educational process, helps them with the problem-solving process.
Yeah, make sure everybody participates.
Yeah, and, get a coordinator, whatever. Certainly, you would want to have. The idea is that if you have, if you get 4 or 5 people to have a class at a certain time, they just follow the process, okay, which are defined in the new group, and will be a process that we refine over time. It's all cookbook, okay. It's if you, I mean, the worst case scenario is you get 5 people together and they have no idea how to produce, how to take the next steps. They have no idea what to search for on Google. They're just clueless, and and that can happen. So you would want to have, I would be inclined to join groups, and hopefully there will be other people that would be inclined to, and we can offer rewards for the coordinator. Okay.
It's an important distinction too, that your target audience are people that are wanting to learn tech skills, and because of that target audience, what they normally have to do is search for that needle in the haystack, which is the correct command to do what they want, or the correct way, or even the correct answer to their question that might have never been answered before. So going into somewhere else, somebody that had just learned Django, for instance, might say, oh yeah, I started with that website over there, and then they'd be guided along the way that this guy just vouched for. So.
Well, I think all of this is good discussion for our meeting on Thursday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, at that point, we'll have at least one. We'll have at least one more class under our belt, We'll
I mean, we want to, I guess, here's my point is, do we, I think that Thursday's meeting is going to be just basically open forum. And out of that will come, some sort of goals and, or let's say aspirations, goals, and some action items, and maybe, assignment of roles and so forth. But I don't think we need an agenda for that meeting at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we'll see where.
Although we can probably, I mean, we can probably take the same, the same format we've got here in this meeting and repurpose it over there. Does that make sense? I don't know. We can discuss all that at that meeting. Is all I'm getting at.
Right. All right. So, I don't know if I have my action items here. I know what they are.
Well, so are we done with the regular portion of the meeting, Jim? Could we go into a general forum off?
Yeah, basically, it's like, is there any other agenda items? So that's open forum.
Yeah. So there are some things that I would like to discuss, but what it says here in the meeting, it says moderator closes the official business portion. Zoom recording is turned off.
All right.